Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we have a few missions in progress right now. We have a satellite heading to the specific orbit of the Sun, we have an orbital station heading out to solar orbit, and we need to land on Minmus and the Moon again. And we need to do both of those relatively soon to get our, what was it called? Our ionographer set up there. Excellent. So, let's check in quickly on the status of our Raven 1S. This is the satellite that is on its way out. That is not even yet at its gravity assist. And that maneuver node is in 166 days. So that's fine. The Solar Gateway is on an escape trajectory out of Kerbal, and that is 283 days away from its maneuver node. So we don't need to check in on those for a while, and I think we'll go ahead and open up a Griffin 3L here, like this, and this thing, like, honestly, I feel like this could be replaced with an SLS, since we built one of those last episode. Like, I feel like this is massively overcomplicated for what it needs to be. So essentially, to rebuild the SLS, because I don't feel like trying to merge it in right now, I don't have that properly set up. To rebuild the SLS, all we need to do is we put in a Jumbo 64, pair of them, make it orange. There we go. We put in an engine plate, and that would be engine plate. An EP25. Place that there. Make there be quad attach nodes. Put in a group of swivels, 4 of them. Like so. And then on the sides, we would put in a radial decoupler, only bicoupled. And then a big ol'... which one was it? I believe it was the Pollux solid fuel booster was the one that we used. And we would attach that right there. Technically not right there. We would attach that right there. And then this would be brought down a ways to be basically like that. Excellent. We would put nose cones on this. And the nose cones that we were using was these bad boys, which means that with this particular model of the SLS, this does need to be brought down a little bit further. Something like this will have to do for now. It does mean that we could probably fit in a little more fuel here if we really wanted to. What's our thrust to weight in this stage? 0.62 right now. As we get up in the atmosphere, that's going to be closer to 1.0. Of course, we would do something like this, and then this would detach separately. So we'd be mostly concerned about this stage, 0.92. Yeah, that's more like it. That'd be close to 1.0. Regardless, I think this is plenty. So we will put on a couple of struts. We will connect it in here, as well as here. There we go. That should be enough strutting action, although I do want to just make it a little bit more symmetrical and put in struts like that. Okay, so because of the way the lander is set up, we had to move the SRBs on the SLS down a little bit, but this should theoretically work. We would need to check our staging, of course. We've got our 4 motors here and our SRBs, and then the SRBs detach, and the nose cones detach, and then the engine plates, they kind of don't need to ever detach. That kind of doesn't become a thing, but we detach there, and realistically, looking at this here, we don't really have an adapter for that, and maybe we should put one in. Like, this would be a Rockamax brand adapter, like that. Or perhaps we would put in a fuel adapter. This is an FLA 215. Because this doesn't come with any fuel inside of it. This is not going to be the right size on either side. I mean, that's closer. Nope, not that one. I'm thinking there isn't one for standard 1.25 meter to Rockomax. I mean, that's what the Rockomax brand adapter is for, right? What is the weight on that? 0.1 tons? What does that do to this thrust to weight in this stage? 0.72? I feel like that's not worth it. Well, that's actually the same thrust to weight. Okay. How did we get 0.96 before then? I don't know. At any rate, I feel like that weight isn't really worth it. It's basically purely aesthetic. I'm not sure that this is going to cause any aerodynamic issues either. It might, but we can just connect in struts. Like that. Just to make sure that that's a more solid connection there. So who all's going to fly on this? Well, we're definitely going to bring Valentina. I think we'll leave Bill and Bob for right now, and we'll bring Enber, and we'll probably want to hire in a new engineer. We'll save this for right now, and we'll go to the astronaut complex, and we will hire in Orbis here. Excellent. And then we will bring in Orbis and save that. Okay. So thrust to weight wise, this is a little on the low side. There's no doubt about that. But once we get into vacuum, yeah, vacuum this is 0.92 when fully fueled. So we can see here 4650 as we go up. It's not actually changing. Okay. Wait. Now it is. Okay, you actually have to release it for it to recalculate. I kind of don't like that. But this should be more than enough DV, realistically. And these should be firing here. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. That was the issue there. So, of course, we're going to still have our good old aerodynamic issue. So, we need to do basically the same thing that we did for the previous SLS launch, which is we need to put fins on the SRBs, like that, just to help out a little bit. And then our mass is far different from our previous launch. So we need to put fins somewhere like here. And the question is, do we need a second set of fins? If we're going to have them, here is about the right place to put them. It looks ridiculous, but it'll get the job done. So we've got our crew here. There we go. Is this a simulated flight? I mean, this is not the first flight of the SLS at this point. I feel like this is not simulated. This is a real flight. So there's no reversion if I mess this up. Some of the others have been the same way, of course. Hang on a moment. What am I doing? We'll just recover that. Because I didn't put the new science experiments in. Like, that's the entire point that or the entire reason that we're going. So we need to put those in. So we need to bring along with us the ionographer, and realistically, I don't think we need the extra cargo storage unit here. We'll get rid of that, and we'll have just this here. And then inside of here, we could bring, I suppose, an extra photovoltaic panel, just in case we need the extra power. And then we would bring along the ionographer. And I don't think we need anything else. We'll bring another solar panel just in case, because we have an empty slot, but otherwise, that'll be it. And then in the service bay here, we would need to bring along simply a atmospheric fluid spectrovariometer. Isn't going to be amazingly helpful on the moon and Minmus, but we'll put one there anyway. And then we definitely want the negative gravioli detector. So we'll just see if we can find a spot for that here. The accelerometer is currently underneath the fluid variometer, which is slightly awkward. We'll just attach that right there. We shouldn't need to access the accelerometer because that is a reusable experiment, so that's fine. Do we need to bring along the Science Junior? We don't need to. We might get a little extra science from it, so we'll do it. So I think now we are actually ready to send this off. And we need to decide, are we going to the moon or Minmus with this one? That's a good question. We'll run the atmosphere analysis and the gravity scan. And the seismic scan, I guess. Oh, cannot run experiment while stowed. We have to open this to the atmosphere. That's correct. There we go. Excellent. We'll also have Ember EVA. Grab an EVA report, which apparently we didn't have, and a surface sample, which apparently we didn't have. We'll grab a mystery goo observation and a materials study. And I guess we'll just recover that. We'll get a tiny amount of science, and it won't cost us anything. Yeah, 22.6 science. That's not nothing. Okay, let's try this again. So, we still need to decide, are we going to the moon or Minmus with this flight? We need to go to both. Well, let's check here. We have plant flag on Minmus, science data from surface of Minmus, science data from surface of the moon. So we have 2 contracts for Minmus and 1 for moon. So I think that answers the question. We'll go to Minmus. And I guess we may as well continue grabbing this science as long as it's here. There's not really a reason not to, I suppose. Okay, there's an additional 4 science. That's 26 science that we got in total from that. I mean, when we need 1,000 science, that's not a ton. But we still need to go to Minmus, so I think that's enough science gathering on the pad for right now. Even if we've got a little extra that we can get here, I don't think this is super worth it. I'm going to bump this up to 1.0 min science. And double check our staging. So the SRBs then fall off. All of this detaches. Oh, hello. This is not right. This is not right in the slightest. Okay. So that is fine being there. This should detach in its own stage, as well as that at the same time. Then we need to fire the drogue chutes first, which I believe is these. Yeah, those are the drogue chutes. Okay. Good thing I checked that staging, because that was a mess. Okay. I think we're ready to go, Valentina. Let's go. And off we go. How aggressive are we going to take this gravity turn? Well, we're less top-heavy with this particular launch. I don't want to go super duper aggressive, but a little more aggressive than we went with the station. Okay, let's just head over a tiny bit. I really don't want to push too hard here. We're passing max Q right now, and this is good. This should be a very, very stable design, though. Realistically. And it does feel quite stable. So let's just make our way over a little bit here. We're drifting downward a little bit off of our trajectory. Now we ditch our SRBs, and we should be high enough at this point to just safely head over to the horizon. And we'll just rotate a little bit. There we go. That was a pretty clean launch, ultimately. What is our current thrust to weight? 1.3, so we're doing well. Now remember, we have no maneuver stage on this. We're just using the bottom stage of the SLS. We are not using the second stage. I believe they call it the exploration stage. That is not something that we have on this currently. Which, the SLS, for a mission like this, would absolutely use the exploration stage. I'd have to look into how that's designed. Of course, SLS doesn't have these fins either. That's a Kerbal thing. Okay, we'll grab our gravity scan. This is a rerunnable experiment. And we're just going to keep accelerating here for now. We do need about another... I mean, at this point, we should probably cut the throttle and circularize up over here. It'll be a little bit more efficient to do it like this, and there's plenty of time to make this happen now. So we will do something kind of like this. There we go. Unfortunately, Valentina isn't skilled enough yet to do the lock to maneuver node, which I find very, very unfortunate. We'll just get to the position over here. This is a 25-second burn, so we want to burn at T-minus 12.5 seconds. And in fact, this is a pure prograde burn. So we may as well do that. We want to burn now. Good enough. We'll save that extra 9 meters per second. And now we need to do some inclination changes because we are going to min-miss. So, at the descending node, that is our next point over here, we need to change our inclination. It is, of course, more efficient to launch into the correct inclination in the first place, but this is fine. We've got enough delta V. So this is going to continue to burn the main SLS stage, which is fine. This is going to be, let's see here, this is a pure normal burn, so we will lock to normal. Physics warp as we turn. This is a 10-second burn. Okay. Let's collect all experiments for now. And we'll grab another gravity... Actually, we're not going to grab another gravity scan. it's not really worthwhile for right now. So we will warp to our next maneuver. We want to burn this at T minus 5 seconds. Oh, hello. We get a new gravity scan every biome. I forgot about that. Okay. So T minus 5 seconds, but we're going to continue to grab these gravity scans as much as we can. We may as well. There's no reason not to. Okay, we'll keep that. And Highlands, that's fine. We're not going to grab another one of those. In fact, I'm going to set this threshold to 2.0, just so that we don't get that. Okay, in about 5 seconds, we begin our inclination change. And in fact, I missed it by 1 second, but that's okay. Okay, is that close enough? Not quite. Let's get shifted over to the normal node. And we'll fix that. Of course, it'll be most efficient to do it at the descending node, which has moved a little bit from that burn. I was chasing the node too much. I should have stayed at normal. That's all there is to it. Okay. Descending node is basically here. There we go. That'll do. So now we need to plot an intercept to Minmus, and I'm thinking if we burn somewhere around here, we will likely get an intercept or close to one. Hello. What's this looking like? Okay, we could maybe adjust this a little bit if I can get to the node. There we go. Maybe a little bit more prograde. Ooh. Hello. A little less prograde. There. That is nice. Basically the correct inclination, too, because we want to land here again. Or close to it. Okay, so now we need to get to the prograde node. And we'll slowly make our way there. The solar gateway is still over here, and we may end up passing the solar gateway. But for right now, we need to physics warp. I mean, we're going to have to change our orientation. So I'm actually going to only warp to here so that we have enough time to change our orientation. Okay. Deserts, and we'll keep that. And apparently, I can't exit the map. There we go. It was because I had the Raven selected. I guess that's fine. So we will collect that data. We are making our way over to the prograde node. And I'm going to physics warp that. This is a 1 minute 56 second burn, so we want to burn this at T minus 58 seconds. This is going to burn out this entire stage, so we're going to have to use a little bit of our fuel in this stage, but that should be fine. I'm not too concerned about that. Like, Minmus requires so little to actually land on. Okay, so let's just get back to prograde. We want to burn this at T minus 58 seconds. So here in about 8 seconds. Now. The SLS stage is going to be burned off here. Just double checking this. That looks okay, in theory. Off we go. We're gonna see if we can avoid hitting any of these guys. Be ideal if we could. It looks like we are going to avoid them. Fantastic. That's the wonders of prograde. So, I mean, we are quite a bit off of this maneuver node, currently. Let's see if we can't push that back towards prograde a little bit. Or at least be right on the node. This is a pure prograde burn, right? It was supposed to be. Well, we've still got 150 meters per second here, but I feel like... I mean, it is pushing out fast enough. Okay. It is, after all, exponential. Yep, we will indeed get our encounter here. That's a moon encounter. We don't care about that. We are not gravity assisting. And here comes our min-miss encounter. That'll do. Excellent. So once we get here, we will, of course, that's 6 days away, we will be circularizing this, and then we'll be coming in for a landing. Not quite like this. More like this. Well, approximately. Maybe more along the lines of this. However, this landing is a job for next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.